In this episode, we're going to be building this awesome modern floating shelf. All right, let's get started. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's project. I'm super excited about this one because we're building floating shelves. And to build this project, all you need to buy is a 1x3, a 1x6, a 1x8, 1x10, however deep you want your shelf to be. I'm actually going to be using a scrap piece of plywood that I have lying around my shop, and this is actually a 1/2 inch thick. Usually a 1x whatever you want to get is 3/4 inches thick. That's totally okay because the principles that we're going to be doing and showing you today can apply to any thickness of wood that you have. All right, so let's take this over to my table and show you how we're going to lay everything out. Okay, so we're going to lay everything out on this piece of wood here, but before we do that, I want to explain what we're going to be doing. See, we're going to run everything through my table saw, and I'm going to set my table saw to cut this board at a 45-degree angle. The reason why we're doing that is we want to hide any seams that we have, and that'll give you that clean, real crisp look to this hanging floating shelf. My depth is going to be 5.5 inches for the top, and then I'm going to cut another one that's 5.5 inches for the bottom. I decided that I want the thickness of my shelf to be 2 inches. So I'm going to cut a 2-inch strip to cover the front of this shelf. Let me show you how I'm going to lay this out. We're going to cut a 45-degree angle right here. We're going to measure from this edge all the way over here to about 5.5 inches. So from this edge to this edge, the top part right here is going to be 5.5 inches. We're going to need 2 of these, one for the top and one for the bottom. All right, so you remember I said I wanted my shelf to be 2 inches thick? Well, now I'm going to cut that front piece to make it 2 inches. I'm going to set my table saw to do that and cut it, and then I'll show you how all these pieces are going to assemble. Okay, so I laid everything out to show you how this is going to go together. This right here is going to be the front, and then this right here is going to be the top. It's going to go just like that. In order to attach everything, we have to create 2 side braces, one that goes here and then one that goes over here. These braces need to be 1 inch tall. I know that because this is exactly 1 inch from this corner to this corner. I'm going to go over to my table saw and make those right now. To assemble the shelf, I'm going to use a brad nailer. I'm using 3/4 inch brad nails. If you happen not to have a brad nailer, that's totally okay. You can use screws, you can use just glue, or you can use small wood nails. All right, well, I'm going to go hook this up and we're going to start putting this together. We made our floating shelf. Here it is. Looks great, right? Well, we're not done because we have to make the mounting bracket that holds this shelf to the wall. To do that, we're going to cut some wood strips that are going to be 1 inch thick. That's the same height as the side supports on this right here. All right, so let's go to our table saw and start cutting those. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit this in here and I'm going to mark the edge. And then I'm going to move it in 1/2 inch from this. The reason why is I need to put a back plate on it, and I need this to sit flush. All right, I've made 4 of my rods that I need. Now I have to make the braces that go in between the rods that sit inside. So it's gonna look something like this when you're done. All right, so I just cut the back piece to this mounting bracket, and it's gonna go on just like that. I'm gonna use a brad nailer to attach everything, and I'm gonna use 1 1/4 inch brad nails. That way they're long enough to go through this wood. The next step is, once it's all assembled, is we're gonna dry fit it and test the fit. So I finished my mounting bracket, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty simple actually. This mounts to the wall, and you just put some screws in here, and then you slide your shelf onto it. So it just goes on like this, and it slides right on in. Pretty simple, right? Well, I'm gonna put some wood putty in some of these holes and give this a paint job, and we'll almost be done. So we're in my son's room, and this is where we're gonna put the floating shelf. There's already some holes on the wall from things that were hanging here earlier. I took them down, but this mounting bracket's gonna cover that. It's gonna go on here just like that, and then we're gonna put the shelf on. All right, let's hang this bracket and put the shelf on the wall. Alright, there you go, a floating shelf. If you like this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to see tomorrow's video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ding that bell to get notified. Alright, here's a sneak peek for what we're going to be making tomorrow.